second part of this keynote will come from Axel Kuschevatsky, who is the head of international film productions at Telefonica Studios, and he's also a screenwriter and a TV producer. Since launching a year ago, Telefonica Studios has invested in nearly 30 movies. One of them is Regression, an elevated genre movie with Emma Watson and Ethan Hawke. It's directed from Alejandro Amenabar, who previously directed the others. And Axel has also produced a number of Spanish language hits such as Wild Tales, which world premiered here in competition at the Cannes Film Festival. So Axel will be joining us to discuss the studio strategy, and we'll take a look at what Telefonica Studios is bringing onto the market. Hello, Axel.
Hello.
Very nice to see you.
Nice to be here. Thank you, Mom. I'm kidding. Okay, I have good friends over there, so...
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yes. So we actually saw very little of Regression. I mean, why is
that was on purpose, actually.
What?
That was on purpose.
Okay.
We don't want to show anything yet. I mean, it's one of our biggest projects for next year. As you told everybody before, the movie is directed by Alejandro Amenabar, which is, I would say, one of the best Spanish filmmakers ever. And the movie is starring by Emma Watson, Ethan Hawke, David Hewlett. It's a huge movie for us, and I think it can start a trend. The kind of big, at least for us, movies we want to shoot in English.
Yes, I mean, what's interesting about this project is that it's English language directed.
Yeah, by a Spaniard.
Yeah, yes, by a Spanish director, and it's high profile with upscale talent.
Yeah.
How does it reflect your strategy at Telefonica Studio? Is it what you're trying to do, like kind of mix?
Yeah,
I
do believe in keep some kind of balance between local stuff and international production.
Yeah.
It has a lot to do with the landscape where we are making movies. The thing is, Telefonica owns cable services, pay TV services, free-to-air networks in some countries, and there are some law obligations to fulfill in some of those countries. When we did realize that we were making around 12 to 15 movies a year between those different companies, it was pretty much clear that we were making the same amount of movies that companies like Paramount or Sony were making. So that's when my boss said, we should do something about this, and we created Telefonica Studios. We are producing in Argentina through Telefe, which is the running success, is the biggest TV network there, and we are using the law obligation that comes for Telefonica after owning Movistar TV, which is a big pay TV player there. So since we are aiming for local audiences, we were trying to also aim for global. And it has a lot to do with brand strategy. You have to, we don't have like 5 years to create a brand, not anymore. So the rational thing to do was to have local successes and also international stuff coming out. And that's why we aggressively pursue Alejandro Amenabar and Fernando Bovaira, which is his producer.
But you're here today doing this keynote on film and TV crossroads because Telefonica recently acquired Canal Plus Spain.
We are still waiting for the government approval.
Okay, but still, you're going to be looking into scripted original.
Well, I guess that it's impossible to know exactly which effect the merge will have. But it's obvious that if it happens, it's going to have a huge effect in the audiovisual Spanish landscape. So yeah, we assume that it's going to happen, but we don't know. It's not in our hands.
But it will be the next chapter for Telefonica Studios now that you've already invested in nearly 30 movies in a year and a half.
Well, a year ago we presented, the project in the San Sebastian Film Festival, and we said, our main goal is to achieve around 25 movies in 3 years, and we reached 30 movies in a year and, year and 2 months.
So much content.
I'm so tired. My wife and my kids are cursing me every time I run away from home. Should I say so? Run away? Okay.
But going back to TV series, what type of TV drama are you interested in doing at Telefonica
Well, you
Studios?
see, it's I'm part of the audience, so I consume everything that it's making the rounds, from BBC stuff to Lionsgate, or when we are talking about platforms. So the serialized narrative form that it's developing in pay television, and VOD services, it's completely different than the kind of stuff that broadcast television have been making for the last 30 years. You see, it's serialized. And the talent that is approaching serialized storytelling, it's the talent that like 20 years ago were making indie movies. It seems to be the new indie movie
Yes, of
movement
course.
somehow.
Yes.
Yeah, because you have supposedly you have some new freedom that you will not find in network stuff. And I think I heard some people saying that Windows will collapse, and I'm not sure about that. I think Windows will coexist, but the truth is the driver is still content, good content. I mean, not every content, good content. So in order to, you're going to watch a series like you are reading a book. Every single episode, it will be like a chapter in a book.
Yes.
It's really serialized. It's like getting back to the old Charles Dickens way of publishing. It's like you did have like a chapter every week. So the viewing experience is going to be completely different than theatrical. So you have to, and even different than broadcast television. So you have to create content that works within that frame.
Okay, but in terms of directors, you obviously have great connections with directors. Damien Cifron, who directed Wild Tales, Alejandro Amenabar from Regression. Are they willing to go into TV series? I know
a lot of
Europe,
those guys
in the US,
did come from
really...
television. Damian created Los Simuladores, which it's a cult series in a lot of countries. Juan Campanella came from TV. Actually, he's now directing a pilot. I don't see, I think that talking about this kind of
Alejandro Amenabar,
he doesn't want to do TV. There's no way to convince Alejandro. Yeah, there's no way. But
okay,
other guys like Pablo Larraín from Chile, and he's such a great director. He has been making shows for HBO Latam. It's not like, I think that this discussion about the opposition between movies and television is kind of old-fashioned. We're talking about content, and it's not about anything else.
So you're already pitching them stuff?
We are doing some stuff. Yeah. Let's see what happens.
Okay. And are you maybe interested in adapting some of the movies that you're making at Telefonica Studios into TV series? Are there some?
Well, we will love to. Yeah. But sometimes some stuff doesn't translate, and I've seen there's a trend in the U.S. trying to create shows out of proved material, and I don't think that works. You were talking about Mad Men. That's a show that there has been nothing like that before. It's unique. Let's talk about Breaking Bad. There is nothing like that. Nothing before was like Breaking Bad. And by the way, the Breaking Bad was produced by Mark Johnson, which is one of the greatest film producers from the last 20 years. He's the guy who did win an Academy Award for Rain Man.
Yes, of course.
So there's no boundaries here.
But you said at San Sebastian that there's going to be a saturation of content very soon.
Do you think that you're? Well, I'm curious about this. Everything about series seems to be a brand thing.
So there are too many shows out there.
Well, there are too many shows out there. And I know that everybody's trying to get a show, kind of tailor-made for their services. But I'm curious how many of those shows will survive after the next 2 or 3 years. I'm not sure.
But you're getting into that business.
Oh yeah, of course, like everybody else.
But you have different type of talent that you're working with.
We need to create listen, we need to become relevant in order to be relevant.
That was the plan with Telefonica Studios.
Yeah, that was the plan.
To become really global.
That, and also to create new exclusive windows for our services. Both, to give add value to the services. So we are creating some new farms I wouldn't say entertainment, but listen, we have a movie which is on general release today in Spain. I'm not going to tell you which one. And I'm not going to do that. And we are going to have on our VOD system in Spain, the director's cut.
Interesting.
You haven't seen that on VOD services. And it's not a brilliant idea, but it's something different.
So you're creating exclusive content for your other outlets?
We're trying to, yeah. Okay. Also, since we're working between the boundaries of the law obligation and tax breaks.
So tell us about that, the law obligations.
Telefe has a law obligation of making 8 movies a year in Argentina, being co-producers with equity partners. And in Spain, you have a law obligation of reinvesting 5% of your net income of Movistar TV net income in new product. So that makes a lot of money, actually.
Yeah, but how is the recession in Spain, how is the economic situation impacting your business?
Well, we can't be dependent on admissions. We have to find ways to finance the movies, taking admission sales out of a question. That's what's happened when you have a crisis scenario. But at the same time, the law obligations is still the same, no matter if you're in the middle of a crisis. Also, I'm from Argentina. I have a master in crisis. Those are my friends. Yeah.
But you're also relying a lot on soft money to finance the shows,
We
right?
are co-producing, and we are using every single tax rebate, government funding, everything we can find to get our movies, and I hope TV shows made. Yeah.
Can you tell us, for example, Regression? How was
Regression is a co-production between Spain and Canada. So it has the benefits of Spain and Canada.
Where did the soft money come from on Regression, for example?
Well, the movie was pre-sold.
Okay.
And the Weinstein company has the movie for the US, and Sony has the movie for Latin America. So it was really easy to put that movie together. It wasn't so hard, because you have Alejandro getting back to the thriller genre, and it's an amazing script. It can.
But you cannot tell us
what
it's about.
It will scare the days out of you. It will scare. It's an amazing movie. This is the guy who created The Others, one of the greatest,
so we're talking about
thrillers
Regression.
ever. Yeah. Also, the casting was locked in, so you have Emma Watson, you have Ethan Hawke, and you have David Thewlis. So everything came together really fast. It was really easy.
But it's kind of amazing the way that you are able to get those type of talent. Emma Watson. I mean, how do you do that? Are you filling a gap that the studios have left somehow?
That was Fernando, Bovaira, and Alejandro. They do have their shine. They're amazing. So I do perceive. I think that we have to protect talent. We have to follow talent. We have to convince them to work with us, and we have to create, I would say, long-term relationships. But we have to create this environment for creation.
But is it easier for a foreign studio, like Telefonica studio, to get US or UK talent nowadays?
Let's be clear about this. Studios are making 40 movies a year, while 10 years ago they were making like 20 to 30. Just Warner's is the only one that keep churning like 40 movies a year. So when they decide to, minimize risk, they're using the same amount of financing to make bigger movies. They're trying to reach foreign markets. 10 years ago, the US ticket sale were around 70%, and foreign was 40%. 10 years after that, it's 60% is foreign and 40% is the US. And the drivers are Latin America, Russia, and China. So what the studios are doing now is they are skipping that middle range movies between $20 to $100 million. Everybody keeps saying here, and it was very much like here in May at the film market, everybody kept saying, the $50 million movie is dead by now, because nobody wants to touch that. Studios are investing either in tentpoles or tadpoles. They are going through superheroes, or they're going to horror movies made under $2 million, like the kind of the Blumhouse kind of movies. So there is a middle ground that is, actually that's the place where serialized television is going now. They're trying to grab 35 years old audiences, plus audiences. But I mean, there is still room for theatrical releases for the same audience, for 35 plus audience. We can make movies that will look like a $50 million dollar movie for 18, like Regression. Mm-hmm. That's the best example of it.
Yes, and in terms of TV series, do you think that you can also make a difference?
Yeah, but I think we have to talk. Those series have to be tailor-made. Mm-hmm. We are part of the creative process. We are not buyers. We are not financiers. We also finance, but we are taking risk. We are equity partners. We are part of the creative process. That was our main goal, mm-hmm. not to be silent partners. Otherwise, it's like, doesn't make any sense for us.
Yeah. Another niche for you are family movies, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you've really gone into that. Why?
Well, mainly with animation, it's quite easy. I mean, an animated movie can travel.
Ted the Explorer was
Ted the Explorer is a good example. It was a huge success
now you have
in
the
Spain.
sequel.
We are producing the sequel, and you have seen some, some shots from Capture the Flag. Mm-hmm. Both movies are going to be released worldwide by Paramount. And those movies are amazing, the same team. So yeah, movies like that can travel. We can create a global brand out of movies like that, of course, yeah.
Okay, I'm sure you've heard so much, keynotes about the revolution in global film distribution, yeah. And the role that streaming services are playing now. How is that impacting the way you do your business and the way you distribute it?
Well, for me, it's like, I think that the system is getting back to the 40s. In the 40s, you have kind of this kind of a vertical integration, mm-hmm. where companies were producing distribution, having a hand distribution, and an exhibition. So it seems that everybody wants to get back to this old system where a single company, like Netflix is a good example of that. They're producing, their distribution, they have the distribution, they have the exhibition means. So nowadays, this is part of our way of thinking. It's not separated. We are thinking about distribution, every kind of distribution, while we are trying to create the products. That's how we can have a director's cut exclusively for VOD. And
so maybe one day you'll be making a movie exclusively to distribute on a streaming service.
Oh. It can happen, but I think we have to protect theatrical. Theatrical still, it's not meaningless. And the theatrical attendance, it's on the rise. That's something that, a lot of people, it's kind of swishing, but it's true. It's not theatrical. It's
in Latin America.
In Latin America, it's every single year more people is going to theaters. So what can I say? I told you yesterday, we were talking about this yesterday, and I told you, I think that creativity, as the French poet André Gide said like 40 years ago, creativity comes out of limitations. Mm-hmm. So this obligation that we have became a tool. And that's how we did perceive the obligation. It's a tool.
Okay, just one last question.
Yeah.
You're already very present, obviously, in Spain and Argentina. Are you looking to tap into any other local film industries, for example, the UK
yes. We are working
Germany?
I would love to go to Germany. The company has some operations there. Since we're looking for tax breaks there, and the UK, I think it's a possibility. Also, we are making movies in Mexico and Colombia. That's cool.
Great.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Elsa. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.